Summer State University, soaring high with excellence, seat of innovation, will build and serve the nation. Summer State University, it's the best for you and me. Your future and dreams come alive. So come on to Summer State University. Summer State University. So come on to Summer State University. From our humble beginnings, we began to shine. From taking little footsteps, we began to climb. Near or far, we have reached across summer. From Catbalogan, Mercedes, Paranas and Pasay. From our halls, we walk their aisles. Achievements and awards now we prize. Join us and we'll show you the greatness of SSU. Summer State University, soaring high with excellence, seat of innovation, will build and serve the nation. Summer State University, it's the best for you and me. Your future and dreams come alive. So come on to Summer State University. Summer State University. So come on to Summer State University. when you come, and I am filled with wonder. Sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk the stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk the stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Mailatang kulakaw, isang magaling na mahal. Ang sikat ng mataw, ako'y kung kailangan hinihingi. Ang bituin ng araw niyang kanyang pangay makinig. Lupa ng araw na walang kapit na sinta. Kulay langit sa piling mo. Sabihin mo ang ligaya ng ngayong akin. Ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Okay, a pleasant morning, everyone. Time check. It's already 5:57 a.m. We apologize for the delay as we are having some small technical difficulties here. So I'd like to greet a wonderful morning to our participants and, of course, to our speaker who is here with us now in Zoom. Hello, sir. And also to our Facebook viewers from different agencies and universities around the country. So, kaway-kaway naman kayo dyan. Hello. Okay, so this morning is special because we are graced with a keynote speaker who will share not only his expertise but also will enlighten us with his talk. And of course, this will only happen with the effort of Summer State University through the amazing and hardworking people of Student Welfare and Development Services who are with me now. Hello, mga ma'am. So all of us here are excited, and I hope you too, because this seminar on Dangerous Drug Act and juvenile delinquency might be an eye-opener in your life. So allow me to share this quote from Bruce Skinner. He said, "The juvenile delinquent does not feel his disturbed personality. The intelligent man does not feel his intelligence, or the introvert his introversion." Okay, and to make most of your today's experience, we would like to ask you to interact with us by sending your thoughts in our chat box here in Zoom and also in the comment section on Facebook because we are also live there. Ayan, hello friends, hello netizens. You can also mention your friends and classmates because we will have games today. And mayroon po tayong prizes. So please stay with us until the end because we will be announcing the winners. And if you were not around during the announcement, your prize will be forfeited. Okay, and now for this webinar to be harmonious, let me present to you the house rules. And please ensure that the protocol for this webinar are followed. This virtual activity is going to be an amazing as long as everyone follow these simple rules. Okay, rule number 1. Okay, rule number 1, please turn off your camera and microphone if not needed. Rule number 2, every Zoom participant's name must be in the following format: family name, comma, first name, and middle initial. For example, Santos, comma, 1A. Failure to comply will relegate you to the waiting room and not be admitted. Rule number 3, for FB Live participants, you may share, tag, and mention your friends to join this FB Live stream, but please refrain from posting unnecessary comments in the comment section. Rule number 4, for Zoom participants, questions and clarifications will be entertained after the talk. By then, you may turn on your cam and mic, or you may use the chat box, and the moderators will cue you if you are already recognized. You may key in your questions and clarifications in the comment section, but we will be entertained after the talk. So rule number 5, please stay until the end of the symposium. Rule number 6, Make sure to fill out correctly the attendance and evaluation and answer the questions to secure your certificate of participation. Link will be shared and posted in the Zoom chat box or Facebook page of Student Welfare and Development Services immediately after the webinar. An important reminders, please give us 3 to 5 days after the webinar to prepare the certificate of participation. It shall be sent to the email you used in the attendance link. Okay, well, that's all, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so before we start the talk proper, let us call in the head of Career and Placement Services for the games. So ano pang hinahintay nyo? Tag and share and mention your Facebook friends. So let us all welcome Miss Maria Cristina Abalos for the games. Ma'am?
Yes. Oh, good morning. Can you hear me? Am I clear? Okay, so we will only have 5 questions here, and I will be reading the questions twice only. And auto mechanics is like this. I will be asking questions, and those who okay, Tagalog daw. Or waray, magpapakiana ako, and you will just I will ask questions and then ita-type niyo yung answer nyo sa dito, chat box, and the answers will be revealed after the talk. So this will be in a form of pre-test. So you have to be in the Zoom and you have to finish the webinar for you to know if you won the game. So each winner will get how much? 20 peso load. Okay, so there will be one winner for each question. Yung pinakamabilis na magsagot will be the winner. And then, if you happen to get the correct answer, however, if you are not around at the end of the webinar, then your prize will be forfeited. It will be given to the next winner. Okay, so are you ready? Ready? Rather ready. So are you not ready to get the prize? Okay, so I will start with question number 1. It is a term used to describe illegal actions by a minor. And it is a term used to describe illegal actions by a minor. So just type your answers on the chat box. Write number 1 and then your answer. So again, since my line is choppy, I will read the question again. It is a term used to describe illegal actions by a minor. So you have to follow the format. Write number 1 and then your answer. Okay? Okay. Question number 2. It is a system dealing with children at risk and children in conflict with the law, which provides child-appropriate proceedings, including programs and services for prevention, diversion, rehabilitation, reintegration, and aftercare to ensure their normal growth and development. Again, it is a system dealing with children at risk and children in conflict with the law, which provides child-appropriate proceedings, including programs and services for prevention, diversion, rehabilitation, reintegration, and aftercare to ensure their normal growth and development. Question number 3. What is the complete name of our speaker this morning? Again, what is the complete name of our speaker this morning? Number 4, it is an act instituting the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, repealing RA 6425, otherwise known as the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972, as amended, providing funds therefore for other purposes. Again, it is an act instituting the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, repealing RA 6425, otherwise known as the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972, as amended, providing funds therefore and for other purposes. And finally, for question number 5, name 2 of the most used and valuable illegal drugs in the Philippines. Again, name 2 of the most used and valuable illegal drugs in the Philippines. So you have to wait until the end of the webinar for you to know who the winners are. So good luck and enjoy our webinar this morning. I know that you will be having a lot of takeaways. And now let us call in the head of the psychological and wellness services to introduce the speaker this morning, Ms. Andrea Del Rosario.
So later, we will announce the winners before we end the webinar. All right. So to give you the rationale of the activity, I will just read the significance of the activity. So violence or delinquent behavior, alcohol and drug use are among the common issues faced by Filipino adolescents. Many factors may be associated with why such an adolescent created or engaged in such acts. So according to various studies, family
All right, so I'm back. We apologize really for the technical errors, because this is really inevitable, mga problems with the internet, no? So allow me to proceed with the rationale of this activity. So according to various studies, family characteristics such as poor parenting skills, family size, home discord, child maltreatment, and antisocial parents are primary reasons for juvenile delinquency and alcohol and drug abuse of adolescents. So, though the issue directly affects the child and its family, it also has societal concerns such as the security and safety of other individuals. Further, the behavior is bound for legal actions. Because of the possible consequences, adolescents need to be educated on the legal responsibility he may face when committing such offenses. So with this actually the main reason why our office, the Student Welfare and Development Services, through its information orientation services, is currently conducting a webinar on Dangerous Drugs Act and Juvenile Delinquency Act, of course, to educate our students in Somerset University and beyond, and also extend to the community. That's why we have a lot of participants who are all over the country or even outside the country. So thank you again for those na mga participants who are here. Thank you for joining us. So of course, we have a very competitive and expert to this topic. We have invited Attorney Dennis G. Cosmod. So wait for a while since the background is in another computer. Wait for a while. Right. So since because of technical difficulties, we will not be able to show the poster of the background of the speaker, but I will just read it to you. Our speaker for this morning is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in physics in Summer State University. He also took his Master's of Physics in the University of San Carlos in Cebu City, and he had he had his degree and Juris Doctor in St. Paul's School of Professional Studies experience. And he was a college instructor in our university. In fact, he was my physics instructor back then when I was still in college. And he was the City Youth Development Officer in City Government of Catbalogan. And right now, he is the City Administrator of City Government of Catbalogan. So he actually have experiences which is related to the youth. He was a volunteer member and national youth representative of the Family Planning Organization of the Philippines, or FPOP. He was the founding president of Waray Waray Youth Advocates, or Waraya. Waraya is actually the longest serving and largest youth organization in Samar Island, advocating youth and community empowerment. And in his incumbency as president of the Waraya became three-time regional finalist and one-time national finalist of the National Search for the 10 accomplished youth organizations of the National Youth Commissions. So some of his awards and achievements, actually marami naman siyang achievements, but i-highlight ko lang tong tatlong to. He was one of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines national finalist in 2006. Wow. And he was a let board exam passer back in 2006, and he passed the bar exam last 2019. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the city administrator of the city government of Catbalogan, our speaker for this morning, Attorney Dennis Galit Cosmol.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Morning, sir.
Opo. I'd like to extend my gratitude to Summer State University for inviting me to talk on these two major topics. These are actually serious topics in our society today. These are actually involving our youth or our children. And as mentioned earlier, I'd like to also to say thank you to Summer State University, specifically the Student Welfare and Development Services for inviting me in this orientation. Actually, this is a learning experience on my part because, as mentioned earlier by Ma'am Andrea, I just passed the bar examinations last 2020. That was April 29, 2020, and then it's pandemic time, and I took the examination on November 2019. So to be honest with you, magpapakatotoo na lang ako. November 2019, I think, was the last time na nagbasa ako ng mga review books ko. So this is a relearning experience for me because after how many years? I think it's almost 2 years now na nakapag-browse ako ng mga reviewers ko to share to you, to be able to gain some information and share it to you this morning. So the two topics that I'll be discussing this morning are the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 and the Republic Act 9344 for the Juvenile Justice Act of 2008. Sana tama ako. And then gusto ko lang is-set yung tone for this activity kasi ako guilty ako nito eh. So parang napapansin ko pag nag-attend tayo ng mga ang tawag nito ng mga web conferences, online orientation, the tendency is hindi tayo masyadong nakikinig because the speaker cannot see us specifically, hindi mapapansin na hindi tayo nakikinig. So ako talaga admitted ko yan. So yung gagawin natin ngayon para mas mag-gauge ko or mafe-feel ko na meron pa akong kausap online is I'll be asking, I have prepared actually 5 or 6 questions all throughout my slides, and then naka-red siya na slide, and then may ito-throw ako na question which is related to the topics or the discussions before that slide. And then yung mechanics doon is kung alam niyo yung sagot, i-answer niyo doon sa chat box. Isulat niyo, sorry, hindi pala i-answer niyo. Isulat niyo sa chat box, and then ilagay niyo yung GCash number ninyo or Paymaya number ninyo. So, hindi ko alam kung may nakikinig talaga. Oo. So, kung kayo yung first na makakapag-answer after that question, iti-take note ko yung number, and then later on after the talk, I'll be sending the prizes. Okay? So para masigurado lang na may nakikinig, kahit 2 lang, 3, basta ang importante may nakikinig. Again, this is just to ensure na at least hindi masayang yung effort ko with our discussion this morning. And then also, pag tinanong ko rin kayo na are you still there, nakikinig pa ba kayo, kindly tap the clap button. Meron ba? Nakikita nyo ba yan? Or raise button? Meron ba? Alam nyo yung paggamit nun? Okay, yan. Meron. So para makita natin na ay buhay pa, meron pang nakikinig. Okay. So ganun lang yung dalawang activities, dalawang mechanics ko in discussing these 2 topics, because again, ipaulit-ulit kong i-remind na I just would like to ensure na merong nakikinig sa discussion natin this morning, because this is time-consuming for every one of us, and then would like to have at least an effect to our listeners, to our viewers in the discussion of 2 major topics: drugs, illegal drugs or dangerous drugs, and the other one is the Juvenile Justice Act of the Philippines. So for the first topic, which is Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, it's already 10:22 and we have to finish this one on 11:30. So 1 hour na lang. So 30 minutes yung pag-discuss ko dito. And then I think some of our, or majority of our participants are already in college. This presentation that I'll be presenting to you is already used by PDEA. And I think if you have some Red Cross chapters or some volunteer organization in your locality, I think na-discuss na din to. So hindi ako masyado magdi-dwell or magdi-deal on the topics, on the dangerous drugs topic. Magdi-deal ako masyado doon sa law, sa 9165. And before I move on, kasi naka-live tayo sa Facebook, and then yung presentations ko hindi ko talaga ginawa because sabi ko sayang yung time kung gagawa ako na may magaganda namang available na mga materials on the internet. So I'd like to acknowledge and recognize yung mga owners nito. Hindi ko alam kung sila din yung gumawa or kinopy-paste lang nila. Si Ma'am Jess Estrella, si George Bainag, and Professor Ramel Muria. So thank you very much. So we'll start with the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, but preliminary discussion is about the issue about drugs. So it's a fact that drugs destroy and ruin millions of lives every year. What should you know about them? Ano yung mga bagay na dapat malaman natin dyan? locally dito sa Pilipinas, ano yung mga batas na magpaparusa kung i-abuse natin or gagamit tayo ng illegal drugs or magsisell or magpo-possess lang tayo ng illegal drugs. So we have to know that. Also, we have to know the basic definition of drug, which is it is a chemical substance that brings about physical, emotional, or behavioral change in a person taking it. So yung mga drug na pinag-uusapan natin, this is in general. So pag sinabing drug, hindi ibig sabihin lahat ng drug is masama. Okay? So later on, we'll just be talking or dealing with those kino-consider natin na dangerous drugs or illegal drugs. Pero in general, yung drug is a substance that bring about physical, emotional, behavioral change in a person taking it. For example, kung may sakit ka and then magtitake ka ng drug and then gumaling ka, there is a physical change in your body. So another concept that we have to review about drugs is yung definition na ng dangerous drug. These are drugs that dangerous drug can be any drug prescribed to you that causes severe side effects. Many people can suffer from serious medical problems and complications after taking drugs. So madami-dami yan, later on i-enumerate natin. So pag sinabi nating drug abuse, this is the use of any chemical substance, licit or illicit, legal or illegal, resulting to individuals' physical, mental, or social impairment. Ibig sabihin, yung drug, kung iti-take lang in a normal dose, okay sana siya. It will not result to physical, mental, and social impairment. Pero kung gagamitin natin to beyond the dosage, beyond the frequency allowed or acceptable, ina-abuse na natin yung drug. And that will result to impairment, either physically, mentally, or socially. So it may refer to any of the following practices. It is using without benefit of prescription useful drugs which have the capacity to alter the mood or behavior. So pwede legal talaga siya na drug, pero dapat may prescription. Pero tinake mo siya without prescription, so part yan ng definition ng drug abuse. Also, if you're using substances for purposes different from the one from which the drug has been prescribed, meaning kung para yan sa sipon, ginagamit mo siya para i-alter, i-stimulate yung sarili mo, so that is also a kind of drug abuse. And ginagamit mo yung bagay na pampatulog, and then iba yung purpose na ginagawa mo para maging high ka lang. So that's an example of drug abuse. And also, using drugs and substances having no legitimate application or purposes other than research. So ito yung mga drugs na hindi pa approved or hindi pa legitimately approved by authorities, pero ginagamit mo na. Andun pa lang sa research na stage. So that's an example of, that's also kind of drug abuse. If you're talking about drug addiction, this is the condition characterized by repeated compulsive seeking and use of drugs, alcohol, or similar substances despite adverse social, mental, and physical consequence. So magkaiba na ito kanina sa konsepto ng drug abuse, kasi yung drug abuse is about not using in the proper way sa drug. Pero yung addiction is parang naghahanap ka na. Okay? You are addicted to a certain substance, drugs, alcohol, or similar substances. And then, to review, meron tayong tinatawag na mga prescriptive drugs, yung may mga prescription, may mga over-the-counter drugs naman. So, this yung over-the-counter na drugs means drugs legally allowed to sold over-the-counter by pharmacies. Over-the-counter drugs are those available without prescription. Hindi ko alam hindi ako pharmacist, pero I think ito yung mga BioFlu, mga Biogesic. I think nabibili yan. Hindi ko alam kung may nakikinig ng mga pharmacist, nabibili yan without prescription. Yung kanina, yung pinakauna, yung prescriptive drugs, dapat mayroong mga prescriptions. Okay. And then, i-review lang natin yung physiology of drugs. Paano ba nag-work yung drug? These are chemicals that change the way our bodies work. When you put them into our body, drugs find their way into the bloodstream and are transported to parts of our body such as our brain. And then in our brain, drugs may either intensify or dull our senses, alter our sense of alertness, and sometimes decrease our physical pain. So depende kung ano yung drugs. Pag tinake natin, yung physiology niya, yung how it work is sinisend niya sa bloodstream and then pumupunta sa ating utak and then ina-alter niya kung ano yung mga senses natin. So from this, may mga drugs na ini-intake natin in minimal dose, in maximal dose. Ito yung minimal dose pag hindi severe yung case, mild lang. Pero kung maximal dose, medyo severe na yung case. And then may mga doses naman na abusive na, hindi na yung na-discuss natin earlier, or yung mga doses na pwedeng ikamatay mo. These are what we call lethal dose. So, common routes in administration of drugs, meron tayong tinatawag na drugs na oral yung pagtitake. Meron din tayong tinatawag na through injection. Meron din tayong tinatawag na through inhalation. Meron din tayong tinatawag na ina-apply lang sa balat, topical. Siguro makakapag-cite kayo kayo ng mga examples nito. Sana hindi ako nagpo-promote dito. Oo, oral, Tempra, meron ba kayo niyan? Biogesic, o Bioflow. Bioflow kasi yung palagi kong vitamin C, ascorbic acid. Okay, Advil. Wow, thank you so much. Injection, pag nasa hospital, hindi ko alam yung iba. And then inhalation, yan, yung drugs, yung illegal drugs karamihan, high insulin. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. May nagpa-participate talaga pero wala pa yung price ha. Okay. Inhalation and then yung meron pa topical. Meron tayong anong tawag nun? Oh my god. Yung binubudbud lang. Merong binubudbud. Sorry talaga. Penicillin. Penicillin na linalagay sa may sugat. So, ointment is an example. Okay. So, meron namang ito, nakita ko kanina, ointoporesis. Hindi ko nga ma-pronounce. Pero that can be another way of administering drugs in our body. So, ito yung mga ways or routes kung paano pinapasok yung drug sa ating katawan. So, yung ointoporesis is a process of transdermal drug delivery by use of a voltage gradient on our skin. So, merong voltage na pinapasok sa ating skin and then yan, intradermal. Galing naman ni ma'am. So, siguro meron ng advance na price si Madam mamaya. Okay, so it's another way, ointoporesis. Okay, hirapan ako mag-pronounce. So general classification of drugs. Yung general classification according to effects, we have depressants, we have stimulants, and hallucinogens. So yung this paralyzes our central nervous system, while yung stimulants, yung kabaliktaran, yung nag-stimulate naman ng central nervous system. Yung hallucinogens, ito yung mga mind-altering drugs, and this gives general effect of mood distortion. So, nagbabago yung mood mo. Nag-hallucinate ka. So, ito yung according to effects. Ito yung major na anong tawag nito, na classification. Meron din tayo according to medical pharmacology, yung depressants, narcotics, tranquilizers, stimulants, hallucinogens, solvents, and inhalants. So yun yung mga classification naman as to medical pharmacology. According to legal categories, meron tayong prohibited drugs, talaga yung mga bawal. Meron tayong regulated drugs, ito yung pwede pero re-regulate, and then yung mga volatile substances, yung mga dapat nabasa ko to kanina, these are substances na ginagamit sa ibang bagay pero may effect sa katawan natin. So for prohibited drugs, we have narcotics, stimulants, hallucinogens, we have regulated drugs, barbiturates, hypnotics, amphetamines. Sorry, hindi ko talaga familiar. Amphetamines, tama ba ako? Sorry talaga. So hindi ako pharmacist. And then ito yung mga liquid, solid, and mixed substances. Siguro mag-fall dyan yung mga rugby. Okay? So our first question. The drug that has an effect of paralyzing the central nervous system is called what? Write your answer in the chat box and your GCash number. So kung sino yung maka-answer dyan, sulat nyo lang yung GCash number. Okay? Okay. So, titingnan ko na lang mamaya kung sino yung tama. May nagsisend, tama yung answer pero walang GCash or Paymaya. So, isa-isahin ko na lang later. O meron na parang isa. Okay. So, classification of dangerous drugs. Depressants, ito yon. I'll not discuss on this because I'm focused on the law. I'm just refreshing you with this information. Pero I cannot talk in details on this because I have no medical background. So these are examples of depressants. Ito yung mga downers. Ito yung nagpa-paralyze sa central nervous system. This should be your answer sa question earlier. Pero may naka-answer na kanina and then nakita ko na may GCash. So feeling ko may nanalo na. Yung stimulants naman, ito yung kabaliktaran ng depressants. Amphetamine. Ayan, amphetamine. Sorry. Nahiyan ako. Sorry talaga. Cocaine, caffeine, shabu, poor man's cocaine, and nicotine. So commonly abused drugs, ito yung narcotic drugs, yung hallucinogen drugs, kasama na yan yung marijuana, and then I'm not sure if kasama dyan yung mga ecstasy. Okay? And then we have the stimulants, cocaine, nicotine, methamphetamine, caffeine, ecstasy, and then sedatives, and then solvents. Ito kanina yung mga rugby, etc. Okay. So, in effect, may mga tao na nagiging dependent na sa drug. These are drugs capable of altering mood and feelings, are liable to repetitive use, to derive euphoria, withdrawal from reality, social adjustment, etc. Ito yung mga tao na naging dependent na tumatakas sa kanilang mundo, sa kanilang realidad, and then para hindi maisip yon, nagiging dependent, nagtitake ng drugs para maging dependent, and in effect, nagiging dependent na sa drug. So, psychological dependence in individual believes that optimal state of well-being is achieved only through actions of drug. So, ito yung nagsasabi na, magagawa ko to, mag-drugs lang ako. Okay. May mga instances na magbabarkada, i-challenge, uy, dapat ligawan mo siya, etc. Pero mamaya ganito. Or may mga drug race, or may mga extreme activities nagagawa mo because you are taking drugs. Physical dependence, altered physiological state produced by repeated administration of a drug which necessitates the continued presence of drug to maintain physiological equilibrium. Discontinuance of drugs result to characteristic withdrawal abstinence syndrome. I think yung best example nito, yung mga taong palaging nagtitake ng sleeping pills, and then pag hindi sila nakakapag-take ng sleeping pills, hindi na sila nakakatulog. So nagkaroon na ng physical dependence effect ng drug sa kanila. So yung drug dependence is more on the physical. Okay? Kanina yung psychological, yung makakaya ko yan pag naka-drugs lang ako. So yun yung difference ng dalawang drug dependence na situation. So paano nagsisimula yung drug addiction? It begins with curiosity, may pressure, peer pressure, friends pressure, frustration and depression. Pag nag-break ng jowa, na-frustrate, na-depress, gustong tumakas sa realidad, nagka-drugs. Desire for more work, yung loaded na sa trabaho pero hindi na kaya, pero kailangan gawin, so nagda-drugs. Looking for a different world, gustong mag-try ng ibang ang tawag nito, ibang mundo. Oo. Relief from pain. Oo. Physical man yan or emotional or psychological. Or mayroon talagang history sa family. And then, wala lang, for excitement and adventure. So actually, may related yung iba-iba dyan. Parang mayroong relation yung iba. Pero it's more on the curiosity, peer pressure, and then trying a different world. Kaya nagtitake or nag-start ng mag-take ng drugs yung iba. Sometimes, sa barkada din, mga association, minsan nagtra-try. Minsan din, dahil sa pagbibigay ng mga inexperienced doctors or non-licensed or hindi licensed na mga doctors. And then, nakagawian na. Naging habit na niya. Or wala lang, na-tolerate na lang, hindi na lang naging the drug users' brain cells become more resistant to the effects of drug. So, mas dinadami yung pag-intake kasi hindi na nagpa-function or hindi na tumaklab yung usual na dosage or naging dependent na yung na-mention ko kanina. So, ano yung mga factors na yung mga bata nagda-drug abuse? May mga panahon na because sa mga motibo and mga attitude ng tao. Okay. For example, kung ano talaga yung motive mo sa isang tao para ma-induce mo siya na mag-take ng drugs, you will capacitate on that. You will take that advantage on that and then mag-start na yung paggamit ng drugs. Also, nasa personality mo talaga or may background talaga sa family or talaga sa family wala na, masyadong magulo. So para tumakas ako, ganito na lang yung gagawin ko. And meron ka talagang psychosocial disorder. So these are some factors kung bakit. Actually parang katulad din ng mga reasons kung bakit nagtitake yung drugs yung general population. For the youth, mas defined lang yung, mas nauna lang based sa presentation na to, yung motives and attitudes. Makaka-relate kayo lahat nito. It starts with drinking. Di ba? Yung nagpo-popularize na pag may alak, may balak. So, yun yung mga motives, yun yung mga example ng mga desires. We're using these substances in order to capacitate or capitalize and implement our desires or perform our desires to other persons. So, yung primary cause of drug abuse, yung pride, yung anger, yung lust, yung envy, etc. These are related kanina sa mga factors na na-mention natin. So, for group classification of drug abusers, we have situational users. Ito yung mga tao na dahil sa kanilang sitwasyon, kailangan nilang gumamit ng drugs. Okay? So, as you can see in the presentation, ito yung mga athletes. So, i-research nyo yan sa mga Olympics, merong mga issues about that. May mga na-disqualify na mga players, mga Olympians, or mga natatanggalan ng title because of the use of drug. Their use of drug on that kind of situation is what we call situational users. Ito yung grupo ng mga users na because of the situation. Okay. Yung spree users naman, ito yung wala lang, gagamit lang kami. Talaga. Okay. Meron naman tayong tinatawag na ito parang leisure, ito yung pot session lang, magbabar ka na, sige, drugs tayo. Okay. Pero meron tayong tinatawag na mga addict na talaga, hardcore addicts. Kung hindi makahit-hit, mahirap talaga sa kanila. And then yung last is yung nakikipag-hip lang, sasabay lang. Okay? Pero actually, hindi naman talaga ganun siya. Okay? And then, ano yung mga ways to identify our drug abusers? Minsan, they have this change in interest. Makikita mo na drug abuser siya or drug user or drug dependent siya if nagkakaroon siya ng change in interest. Meron siyang frequent shifting of mood and changes in behavior and changes in physical appearance. I'm not saying that all drug abusers are like this, pero one common is palagi na silang naka-shades. Oo, meron akong kilala na naging ganun. Hindi sila makalabas during daytime. Siguro in the physical appearance or the physical attribute ng sabi nila nagda-dilate, I don't know. Again, nahirapan sila pag mayroong masyadong maraming light or maliwanag masyado. Okay. So, yung general effects of drug abuse, may mga physical effects, psychological effect, yung social effect. Physical effects, nagiging haggard. Oo, may mga pictures ako nito, pero siguro later on i-show ko. Yung psychological effects, psychological and mental effects, ito yung mga issues na dahil sa pag-take ng drugs, nanggagahasa na sila. Yung social effect, nagkakaroon ng withdrawal, hindi na nagpapakita sa mga kaibigan o nag-iiba na ng kaibigan. Yung economic effects, nagiging pulubi because yung pera na kinikita nila, binibili na lang ng drugs. So my God, I hate drugs. Now, the question is, give at least 2 group classification of drug users. So, siguro wala nang nakikinig. Kaya wala na nag-answer. Give at least 2 groups of, ayan, meron. Kay Ma'am Jennifer na lahat yung prize. Sige. So, thank you very much. So, ganun yan. The government is actually implementing in partnership with the Dangerous Drugs Board, the Philippine National Police, and the DepEd, yung DARE na program, yung Drug Abuse Resistance Education. And then, these are some of the activities or PPAs being conducted or implemented by the government to deter, to prohibit or to discourage use of illegal drugs. So yung DARE, isa na yan. Arrest of some drug personalities dito sa Catbalogan, dito sa lugar namin. We have this ng pag-upo ni President Duterte, we have this drug surrenderies, and then they are having this community-based drug rehabilitation program. So meron silang schedule na nagkakaroon sila ng sessions to rehabilitate them or to change their perception in their lives. So meron kami nito, yung CBRDP. And then yung pag-compose ng Barangay Anti-Drug Abuse Council, and then yung mga seminars dyan. So ways to avoid drug abuse, you have to have positive self-esteem, be involved in worthwhile activities, have friends who do not abuse drugs, have sense of accomplishment, clear defined goals, healthy competition, be committed to follow rules and law, and adhere in loving and functional family. So, dapat sa school, yung mga partners natin sa school, sa friends, this should be mga bagay na dapat in-inculcate natin sa mga bata to avoid them na ma-fall into drug abuse. So ito, mga positive self-esteem, mga worthwhile activities, kaya nga yung SK yung initial years ng SK, puro liga, puro tournament, because yung sports activities daw, sports activities are worthwhile activities that will discourage young people into drug abuse. So, pumili ka ng mga kaibigan mo, and then you have to have purpose in your life, yung sense of accomplishment and goals, and then have healthy competition. So, bakit kailangan mag-avoid ng drugs or dangerous drugs? Illegal yun. So kung kahit nga pag-take lang ng drugs, kahit pinilit ka lang or nagdala ka lang, it's punishable by law. Later on, we will discuss it. And then yung health, it damages your brain. Psychosocial, it destroys one's behavior and causes one to commit crime, rape, crimes against property, crimes against person, pumapatay ka, yung mga kaaway mo, bigla mo na lang sinasaksak. Because of that, spiritual, it's against the will of God. So, say no to drugs and say yes to love. Pero, hindi pa yun tapos. We'll be discussing about the salient features of the law. So, i-share ko lang ito. My God. So, ngayon alam na natin yung different sorry, mamaya. Alam na natin yung basics ng dangerous drugs or yung illegal drugs. So, we'll discuss the salient features of the law. Medyo mahaba yun, so nahirapan ako i-summarize. And then I've seen this kind of presentation, ang ganda niya. So, yung Republic Act 9165, remember that? It's Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. So, bakit na-establish or napasa yung law? It's because of the policy of the state to safeguard the integrity of its territory and the well-being of its citizenry, particularly the youth, from harmful effects of dangerous drugs on their physical and mental well-being. The government will strongly promote anti-drug abuse campaign through implementation and enforcement of policies, programs, and projects. So we'll focus on the unlawful acts and penalties. So we'll have importation of dangerous drugs. Ito yung bagay na pag nakikita mo sa news na I think it was before 2016, mga drug mules, mga drug na inilalagay sa anong tawag nito, sa mga bagahe. Kaya nga, if you are traveling through plane and then magbo-book ka, mag-check-in ka sa airline, tinatanong kung ikaw ba yung nag-prepare ng bagahe mo, pinahawak mo ba to sa ibang tao, etc. etc. May mga questions doon. Kasi pinapa-insure sa pasahero na wala kang dala na dangerous drugs. I think you can search that in the internet. Madaming issues. That's just for the tricky one. Pero may mga talaga sitwasyon na from other parts of Asia, tinatransport talaga, ini-smuggle yung illegal drugs, ini-import yung illegal drugs to the Philippines. May mga sitwasyon dyan na nagdadak sila sa mga areas na hindi masyadong madaming tao or liblib na lugar, andun nila binabagsak yung drugs. Pero for Philippines, hindi na masyadong ganon because, hindi na masyadong mayroong ganong issue kasi yung paggawa ng drugs, ginagawa na rin dito sa Pilipinas. So, yung issue ng importation, bakit ako mag-import na pwede naman gawin dito sa Pilipinas? So, yun yung mga realities about dangerous drugs. So, if you are importing dangerous drugs, ano yung mga penalty? If you are the importer of any dangerous drugs, yung imprisonment mo is life imprisonment plus death penalty plus 500,000 to 10,000, 10 million fine. Okay? So, importer of any controlled precursor and essential chemicals, meaning yung mga raw materials, imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years and 100,000 to 500,000 fine. Importer who uses diplomatic status, maximum penalty, and then confiscation of diplomatic passport, meaning kinapitalize yung mga connections niya. Oo. Or gumamit ng passport or may mga facilities na ginamit. Okay? So, any illegal activity, maximum penalty then. Protector and cuddler, imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years plus 100,000 to 500,000 fine. So, yun yung mga penalties for offenders classified under Section 4, which is about importation of dangerous drugs. Pero may tinatawag din tayo na sale, trading, administration, dispensation, delivery, distribution, and transportation of dangerous drugs. So pag nagsisell ka, nagtitrade, nag-administer, nagdi-dispense, nagdi-deliver, nagbibigay, namimigay, give, distribute, dispatch, or transport ng dangerous drugs, that's life imprisonment or death penalty plus 500,000 to 10,000 fine o 10 million fine. Bakit mayroong last death penalty pero sa Pilipinas walang death penalty? Because tinanggal na or sinuspend na yung application ng death penalty. So life imprisonment lang. Question, gaano ba katagal yung life imprisonment? Parang nami-mention niyo palagi, sir. Yung life imprisonment is equal to 30 years and 1 day to 40 years. So ibig sabihin, pag mahuli ako na nagbebenta ng dangerous drugs, paglabas ko 60 na ako. Oo. So ganun katagal. Kasi minimum is 30 years and 1 day. Sale, trade, administer, dispense, delivery, give, distribute, dispatch, or transport of any controlled precursor, essential chemical. So that's lower, imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Pero may fine na 100,000 to 500,000. Yung financier, maximum penalty. Yung protector and cuddler, lower lang din. So parang lumalabas na hindi talaga sila yung main person, principal na suspect. Okay. Maximum penalty is imposed also on the following. If it is committed within 100, if again, baka malito kayo ha, if the sale, trading, administration, dispensation, delivery, distribution, and transportation of illegal drugs is made or committed within 100 meters from a school, maximum penalty of 40 years. 40 years. If you are the actual person, the principal suspect or the principal na nag-sell, trade, administer, dispense, deliver, give, distribute, dispatch. Pero kung protector and cobbler ka lang sa isang crime ng pag-sell, pag-distribute, pag-trade, and then ginawa yan within 100 meter from a school, yung maximum mo is 20 years. Okay. So, ano pa yung mga maximum penalties? O ano pa yung mga instances kung saan yung maximum penalty will be imposed? Use of minors or mentally incapacitated persons as runners, couriers, messengers, or in any other capacity. If the victim is minor or mentally incapacitated, dangerous drugs is approximate cause of death of victim and organizer, manager of unlawful act, and financier. So, pag ganon yung mga circumstances, attending circumstances, maximum penalty yung ipaparusa sa inyo. So, kanina, importation, pangalawa, pag-sell, pag-distribute. Ngayon, if you are maintaining a den, dive, or resort, kung saan dangerous drugs are being used or sold, meaning kung nagpapat-session, inaalaw mo sa, for example, if it is a resort and then you allow and based sa investigation ng authorities, it became a drug den. Lahat ng mga drug users ay nandun. Doon din nagtransact, doon nagsisell din, doon nagdi-distribute. You will be facing life imprisonment with fine of 500,000 to 10 million. Life imprisonment, again, 30 years and 1 day to 40 years. Okay. Yung den, dive, or resort where any controlled precursor and essential chemicals are used and sold mas medyo mababa, 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. And then, any dangerous drug delivered, sold to minor who is allowed to use the same in such place, so maximum penalty. Owner of the den, dive, or resort should a death occur, it's 1 million to 15 million fine, financier maximum penalty, and then protector or cuddler, you have imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years, plus 100,000 to 500,000 na fine. So, pag alam nyo, this is a warning. Pag alam nyo na yung bahay nyo, yung resort nyo, ginagamit for that, ito yung mga penalties na pwedeng kaharapin ninyo. The dive den or resort shall be confiscated also in favor of the government. Okay. So, yung mga employees din, imprisonment ranging from 12 years to 1 day to 20 years plus 5,000 will be imposed to any employer of a den, dive, or resort who is aware of the nature of the place. Any person who is aware of the nature of the place as such and shall knowingly visit the same. So kahit bumisita ka lang, that will be you will be part of those na pwedeng maging liable, criminally liable. And the imprisonment is 12 years and 1 day and 20 years. So, Section 8, medyo madami-dami pa yan. Manufacture of dangerous drugs, controlled precursor and essential chemicals, illegal chemical diversion of controlled precursor and essential chemicals, manufacture or delivery of equipment, instrument, apparatus, and other paraphernalia for drug dangerous drugs or control essentials, kasama din yan sa mga prohibited acts, and it is punishable by 12 years, imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years plus 100,000 to 500,000 na fine. Ito, possession lang of dangerous drugs. Okay? So, yung pag-possess, paghawak, life imprisonment to death will be imposed if nakita na nag-possess ka ng 10 grams or more of opium, 10 grams or more of morphine, etc., 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 etc. Gaano kaliit yung 10 grams? That's very small. Kasi, take note, yung 1 kilo is 1,000 grams. That's 1 kilograms. So 1,000 divided by 100, that's 10 grams. So, pwede ka na kahit maliit lang. Kung hindi man marami, still life imprisonment. And then imprisonment of 20 years and 1 day to life imprisonment pag 5 grams or more but less than 10 grams, etc., etc. So, mayroon ding 400K to 500,000 na fine for this. So, let's take for example, yung shabu. Yung shabu, life imprisonment to death if may 50 grams ka or more. Pero kung 10 grams or more lang but less than 50 grams, that is life imprisonment. And then for lesser than that, that's imprisonment of 20 years to 1 day to life imprisonment. So up to 40 years. Okay, i-clear ko lang kanina yung statement as to anong tawag nito? Ito. Yung death wala na. So yung maximum mo lang is up to life imprisonment. So walang kahit maghawak ka dyan ng 100 kilograms of shabu, hindi ka papatay because again, suspended na yung death penalty in the Philippines. Pero may nagsusulong for its reinstitution or re-implementation. Okay, so Section 12, possession of equipment, instrument, apparatus, and other paraphernalia for dangerous drugs. Imprisonment ranging from 6 months to 1 day to 4 years. So provided that in case of medical practitioners and various professionals who are required to carry such equipment, instrument, apparatus, and other paraphernalia in the practice of their profession, the board shall prescribe the necessary implementing guidelines. So pag may dala ka or nagpo-possess ka ng mga equipment and apparatus, instrument, other paraphernalia for dangerous drugs, then pwede ka ma-imprison for 6 months and 1 day to 4 years. Okay. Except kung talaga by profession, nagdadala ka nun. So merong implementing guidelines na pinasa yung DDB, Dangerous Drugs Board. Okay? Yung board. Okay. Also, use of dangerous drugs, yung paggamit. Kanina, possess. Okay? By leveling, meron tayong gumamit ka, nag-possess ka, hinahawakan mo, nagsisell ka, nagmamanufacture ka, nag-i-import ka. So mas bumababa, kung nakikita ninyo, mas bumababa yung mga penalties. For use of dangerous drugs, first offense of the person apprehended or arrested who is found positive after confirmatory test, minimum of 6 months rehabilitation in a government facility. But for second offense, you will be imprisoned 6 years and 1 day to 12 years plus 50,000 to 200,000 na fine. Ito yung campaign nung una na do not jail the user, jail the pusher. So, in response to that, tama, yung user, hindi muna sila i-jail for the first offense. Pero mag-second offense, yun na. Hindi ka nagbago eh. So, ito yung mga commonly, according to the data ng Dangerous Drugs Board, ito yung commonly abused drugs in the Philippines. So, methamphetamine hydrochloride or shabu. So, 47%. Cannabis or marijuana. Yung mga street name niya is, yung shabu, yung street name niya is shabs, ice, meth, crystals, tawas. Yung marijuana is wheat, pot, grass, etc. Inhalants, rugby, and then yung ecstasy, yung sedative drugs are comprising 17%. So mas marami talaga yung shabu. Okay. So, Section 18, kasama dito yung unnecessary prescription of dangerous drugs, imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years, 100,000 to 500,000. Additional penalty of the revocation of visa or license to practice shall be imposed upon practitioner who prescribe the dangerous drugs, especially kung walang reason for it. Or talaga, prescribe lang para for drug abuse purposes, hindi to treat a medical condition. Unlawful prescription of dangerous drugs like imprisonment to death. Okay? I'm sorry. Unnecessary pa lang yun. Ito, unlawful prescription. So, 500,000 to 10 million. So, what's the difference between the two? So, yung unnecessary, hindi kailangan pero nag-prescribe ka. Okay? Unlawful, bawal talaga. Bawal talaga pero ginawa mo pa rin. Okay? So mas mabigat yung punishment. So in conclusion, makikita mo yung penalties in all aspects of dangerous drugs operation, from use to possession to selling to importation to manufacture, all of which has its corresponding corresponding penalties and fines. Yung penalties minimum, I think majority or almost all 12 years up to 40 years. So medyo matakot na lang tayo doon. Okay? However, hindi natin alam talaga yung ibang tao, meron talaga silang craving for that or addicted na sila. So, yun yung nagiging problema. So, yung next question is, pangatlong winner natin, what is the RA number of the Philippine Dangerous Drugs Law? Write your answer in the chat box and GCash number. Okay. I'll highlight some of the recent jurisprudence with regards to dangerous drugs. Ito yung mga, hindi naman latest kasi 2018 pa to eh. So from my reviewer, si Attorney Ramel Muria. Okay. So, in order for a person to be indicted or to be liable of illegal drugs, sale of illegal drug, the following elements should be present. The elements of sale of illegal drugs are the identities of the buyer, and seller should be clearly identified. The identities, parang redundant. The clear identification of the buyer and seller. Dapat alam natin, or yung law enforcer, alam niya dapat sorry. Okay. Elements of sale of drugs. So the first element is identity of buyer and seller. So dapat specifically identify during sa law enforcement, sa pag-arrest or during sa operation, dapat identified yung buyer and seller. The transaction or sale of the illegal drug, so dapat ma-define o ma-describe o ma-document yung specific transaction or sale ng illegal drugs. The existence of corpus delicti, okay? Yung proof ng crime, mamaya I'll get the legal definition of corpus delicti na nakakalimutan ko lang. Okay? So, the body of the crime. Yan. So, that can be the shabu or the dangerous drug itself. Okay? So, with respect to the third element, the prosecutor must show that the integrity of the corpus delicti has been preserved, meaning yung shabu the integrity of shabu should be preserved from the moment of the operation until the presentation in the court during trial. This is crucial in drug cases because the evidence involved, the seized chemical, is not readily identifiable by sight or touch and can easily be tampered with or substituted. Kaya nga, during operation, there should be presence of witnesses during the processing of the crime scene. May mga barangay officials, may media involved, etc. Recently, the Supreme Court dismissed many drug cases. So, reversed the decision of RTC and Court of Appeals because of that element, kulang ng witness. Because part of maintaining the integrity of the corpus delicti is or the preservation of the corpus delicti is for it to be identified by witnesses during the processing of the crime scene. Dapat nandun silang lahat. So, another is elements of illegal possession of dangerous drugs. Ito yung dapat i-prove. Meaning, if you are the prosecution, ito yung dapat present para makonvict mo yung tao na nagpo-possess ng illegal drugs. The accused is in possession of an item or object identified to be prohibited or a regulated drug. Such possession is not authorized by law. The accused freely and consciously possessed said drug. So, una, yung issue dito is the accused is in possession of the item identified to be prohibited or a regulated drug. Dapat nakita, may nakuha sa kanya. Okay. Number two, it is not allowed by law. Baka kasi, nadala niya kasi part ng operation, siya yung magpo-pose as buyer. So, allowed yun ng law kasi part ng operation. Okay. Or baka, yung pinag-usapan natin na drug is was prescribed, legally prescribed, medically required by a patient, by a doctor, prescribed by a doctor to treat a certain patient. So in that case, hindi siya illegal, hindi siya unlawful yung pag-possess ng substance. The accused freely and consciously possess said drug. Yung third element, ito yung ilulusot mo pag merong mga issue na ay planted lang yan. Planted lang yan. So, pwede mo yan gawin as a defense for a case about illegal possession of dangerous drugs. So, Obtained through a valid search, the drug operation conducted pursuant to Section 13, Rule 126 of the Rules Court, the sachet recovered from appellant's person, all tested positive for methamphetamine, hydrochloride, or shabu. Mere possession of prohibited drugs constitute prima facie evidence of knowledge or an animus possidendi, sufficient to convict an accused in the absence of any satisfactory explanation of such possession. So, pag sinabing prima facie, pag may nakuha sa iyo, it is your burden later on to prove na hindi mo alam, hindi ka knowledgeable na nandun yun. Okay? So, the burden of to explain the absence of animus possidendi or the possession, ang tawag dito, the intention to possess, okay, rest upon the accused. Meaning, ikaw yung mag-prove na hindi talaga yun intention mo dalhin. Okay? So, dapat ma-prove mo yun in court. So, in the case of parties that failed to do so, so in the case of People versus Raffles, so na-mention doon yung element of illegal possession of drugs, yung tatlo, yung accused is in the possession, pagkatapos it is not authorized, and then accused freely and consciously possessed said drug. So, if I am the law enforcer, paano ko ma-prove yung element of illegal possession? Dapat meron akong ebidensya, meron akong witnesses, meron akong footage or documentation na nakuha ko yan sa kanya. Number 2, wala siyang authority to bring that. And lastly is, talaga dinala niya. Wala siyang rason na dapat dalhin yan, pero dinala niya, dala-dala niya. So those are the 3. Pero kung ako naman yung accused, yung dapat i-prove ko ay hindi yan galing sa akin, linagay lang yan during the arrest. Linagyan ako ng anong tawag nito, ng shabu or ng illegal drugs, or hindi ko yan gamit or nawala yung gamit na yan. For example, if we're talking about luggage, nawala yan, napunta yun sa ilalim, etc. Pagkatapos nakita ko open na. So ganon yung mga magiging defense. Or if talaga dala mo pero authorized ka, ipakita mo na mayroong authority ka magdala niyan. And lastly is, the accused freely and consciously possessed said drugs. Effect of non-compliance of Section 21. RA 9165 concerning the supposed failure to comply with procedures prescribed Section 10 jurisprudence has it that non-compliance with this procedure does not render void the seizure and custody of drugs in a bypass operation. What is of utmost importance is the preservation of the integrity and evidentiary value of the seized item because the same will be utilized in ascertaining the guilt of the accused. This is a decision in 2016, pero lately binigyan na naman ng bigat ng Supreme Court na dapat i-follow lahat ng procedures, i-comply lahat ng procedures in Section 21 of RA 9165. Okay? So, an example to that is yung decision ng Supreme Court on drug cases. Okay? So, may mga latest na mga ito na case. I'll share this one. Okay? This is an example of the Supreme Court acquits drug convict because the law enforcers did not observe the chain of custody being necessary to preserve the integrity of the drug presented as evidence. and it should be clearly established. So yan, that's an example of situations wherein a certain case did not prosper because the law enforcers did not comply with the procedure set by RA 9165. And lastly, chain of custody, the links that must be established. Number 3, i-emphasize ko lang ha. In 2016, the decision of the Supreme Court is kahit hindi masyadong complied yung procedure, basta during the trial, na-explain ng prosecution, the law enforcers, that the integrity and evidentiary value of the items are preserved, then it can be used, or it is enough in ascertaining the guilt or innocence of the accused. But lately, yung sinow ko kanina, yung Supreme Court nagput emphasis on the compliance of following the chain of custody, the complying the necessary procedures, because it casts reasonable doubt on the conviction of a certain person. Remember that in criminal cases, in order for you to be convicted, if you're the accused, it should be convicted beyond reasonable doubt. There should be no doubt. So if you are not compliant, with what is required by law, then it raises a reasonable doubt. Then you can be acquitted. So the chain of custody, the links that must be established in the chain of custody in a bypass situation are as follows. The seizure, marking, if practicable, of illegal drugs recovered from the accused by the apprehending officer. The turnover of illegal drugs seized to investigating officer. The turnover of investigating officer of illegal drug to forensic chemist for laboratory examination, and the turnover and submission of the illegal drug from forensic chemist to the court. Meaning, may 4 na dadaanan yung shabu. If it is shabu, una, from the apprehending officer, next is investigating officer, next is to the forensic chemist, and then to court. Dapat yung chain of custody must be clearly established. Okay? Kung pwede, in every instance, documented, in every instance, there should be witnesses. So that is an important decision of the court. Okay, 11:26, 1 hour na. Sorry. So that is all for the Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Ma'am May, sorry talaga. Medyo matagal-tagal pa to. Okay, dalihan ko na lang yung isa. Okay. Now, we'll have the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006, Republic Act 9344, which includes amendments by RA 10630. There are just few amendments. Yung Bahay Pag-asa, kung kailan nagre-recon yung 15 years na age ng juvenile or ng children in conflict with the law. Yun lang some of the salient features, yung mga main na mga na-amend sa 10630, and meron pang medyo malalaki na mga amendments. Pero let's have this one. So this is a certain situation. Bini is a recidivating minor since he was 12 years old. He has been brought to the barangay council for the past 3 years because he cannot be jailed, meaning nagbabalik-balik na lang siya, nagko-commit siya ng mga crime, and then later on hindi siya na-jail because bata nga siya. So he steals initially due to poverty but now continues because of his addiction to illegal substances. So nung una, nanakaw siya because of poverty. Now, ngayon, he's doing it because kailangan sustain yung drug addiction niya. If you are the punong barangay, as head of an urbanized barangay, the cases of minors violating local ordinances are not new for you. But punong barangay Jose is unsure if he is doing the right thing of managing minor offenders. Recently, he heard from the fellow punong barangays that intervention and diversion program for some same offenders should be implemented at the barangay level. So ano yung gagawin niya? So these are some situations we will discuss in detail kung paano natin i-address yung children in conflict with the law. So the lecture will focus on the roles and responsibilities of barangay officials and other persons in authority in the implementation of RA 9344, particularly in the institutionalization of community-based diversion and intervention programs. How to handle cases, what are diversion and intervention programs, process for CICLs not exempt from criminal liability, and how to handle CICLs. So let's have the basic definition. Child refers to person under 18. CICL, or the child in conflict with the law, it refers to a child who is alleged as accused of or adjudged as having committed an offense under Philippine laws. So yun yung CICL, ha? Children in conflict of the law or child in conflict of the law. Child at risk are child who is vulnerable to and at risk of committing criminal offenses because of personal and social circumstances. So, who are child at risk? At risk, I mean, what puts them into a situation of being child at risk or at risk of offending? Una, being abused by any person through sexual, physical, and psychological, mental, economic, or any other means. So kung ina-abuse siya, the tendency is baka in the future, gumanti siya, mapatay niya yung tao. So in that case, that person, that child is what we call child at risk. This is a definition. This is the definition: child who is vulnerable to and at risk of committing a criminal offense. So makakapag-commit siya ng crime because abused siya or exploited, including sexual or economically. Inabandon siya, so kailangan niya magnakaw kasi wala siyang makakain. Neglected, same pa rin. Coming from dysfunctional, broken family or without a parent or guardian. So these circumstances, being out of school, being a street child, being a member of a gang, living in a community with a high level of criminality or drug abuse, living in situations of armed conflict, these situations can lead a certain person, a certain child to commit crime. Then that person, that child is what we call a child at risk. So the definition also of diversion program, this refers to the program that the child in conflict with the law is required to undergo after he or she is found responsible for offense without resorting to formal proceedings. So hindi siya ita-trial, hindi siya i-undergo sa formal proceedings. Rather, mag-undergo siya sa program. Later on, we will discuss what are these diversion of child offenders from entering the formal criminal justice system, so hindi siya makukulong, and the typical component of restorative approach to justice. While intervention program, this refers to activities which are designed to address issues that cause the child to commit an offense. So the presumption here is merong problema, so kailangan natin i-address yung issues ng bata. We have to involve him or her in series of activities. So it may take the form of individualized treatment program, which may include counseling, skills training, education, and other activities that will enhance his or her psychological, emotional, and physiosocial well-being or psychosocial well-being, or Hindi lang individualized treatment program. The possibility is baka isama yung parents or guardian. So these are intervention programs. Now, question. For a 50 peso cash reward, this refers to a child who is alleged as or accused of or adjudged as having committed an offense under Philippine laws. Wala nang nakikinig. Complete answer with GCAS. May nakita na naman ako. Child in conflict with the law, CICL, dapat complete. Actually, pinahirapan ko kayo. Kaya nga hindi ko na-spell out. Dapat okay, may mga winner na. Okay. Feeling ko may mga nagpa-participate ng game natin na parang na-unfairan kasi hindi siya makasend ka agad kasi mahina yung net. Sorry talaga. From the bottom of my heart. Sorry. Now, actually nag-break na ako. Okay. Juvenile justice system refers to a system dealing with children at risk and children in conflict with the law, which provides child-appropriate proceedings, including programs and services for intervention, reintegration, rehabilitation, and aftercare to ensure normal growth and development. So ito yung pinopromote natin in terms of treating juvenile delinquency issues. So yung ina-apply natin is a restorative justice as basis for juvenile system. This is a principle that requires a process of resolving conflicts with the maximum involvement of the victim and the offender and the community. It seeks to obtain reparation of the victim, reconciliation of the offender and the offended and the community, and the reassurance to the offender that he or she can be reintegrated in the society. Restorative is, the key term is to restore. Meaning kung nagkamali siya, dapat mababago natin siya, magbabalik loob siya. Yung proper term dyan is magbabalik loob siya. So when we say restorative justice as basis of juvenile justice system, it means that the victim or the offender, okay, and the community as a whole, nakafocus sa kanya yung justice system. Now, for the victim, kung ano yung nasira sa kanya, dapat maibalik. Kung anong nawala sa kanya, dapat maibalik. Kung ano nang nasira, na-build pabalik. Yung offender naman, na-change or na-address yung problema niya. So kung noon magnanakaw siya, dapat nabago yan. Hindi na siya magnanakaw. While the community naman, nare-restore yung peace. Okay? Nare-restore kung ano yung values before the commission of the crime. And then, ma-reintegrate yung offender to the society. Now, restorative justice, it is promoting enhancement of public safety and involving the offender, the victim, the community, and the prevention strategies. It is one that presumes the children in conflict with the law are themselves a victim. Meaning, pinoportray natin na yung CICL are also victim. This is different from the retributive justice because yung retributive justice refers to the repair of justice through unilateral imposition of punishment. Focus lang siya sa offender compared sa restorative justice. So pinapunish niya yung offender. May ibang term nito eh. Yung restorative justice is rehabilitative. Yung retributive, ito yung tinatawag na kalimutan ko. Restorative, yung rehabilitative, punitive justice. Ayan. Mas nagpo-focus sa punishment. So, paano basis yung pinakamalaking issue sa juvenile justice system is paano natin i-determine na may criminal liability yung isang tao or exempt siya yung isang bata. Merong pineg na 12 years old, 15 years old, etc., 18 years old. Now question, paano natin ma-determine yung age? Because crucial in RA 9344, yung determination of age for a certain child in conflict with the law in availing the benefits of the law, specifically exempting him or her from criminal liability. Number one, to determine the age is, number one is through birth or baptismal certificate. Number two, in the absence of said documents, testimonies of other persons. Number three, physical appearance. And number four, in case of doubt, it shall be resolved in favor of the CICL. So the burden of proving that it is not the CICL, the children in conflict with the law, the child in conflict with the law is not anymore a minor, and thus is not exempt from criminal liability, rests upon the prosecution. So, unahin natin. So, the salient feature of RA 9344 is specific on the criminal liability, exemption to criminal liability. So, who is a child exempt from criminal responsibility? A child 15 years of age or under at the time of the commission of the crime shall be exempt from criminal liability. So kung 15 below, exempt ka from criminal liability or responsibility. A child is deemed to be 15 years of age on the day of 15th anniversary of his birthday. Okay, kung mag-birthday ha 15, nakag-commit yan crime dida kay may dalang nagwawaray na ako. Nagbibinisaya. The proper term of our dialect is binisaya, not waray. Okay? Nagbibinisaya na ako. Sorry. So, for example, on the 15th anniversary or 15th birthday, this child in conflict of the law is celebrating his birthday. And then during that time, a certain friend attended his birthday and then offended him through whatever words and actions, and then because of that demeanor, pinatay niya. So exempt pa siya from criminal liability because 15 years pa rin siya. Pero pag ginawa niya yan a day after, pwede na siyang maging criminally liable. Pero pwede din siya hindi maging criminally liable. Later on, i-discuss natin yan. So, these persons, or these children who committed crime 15 years of age or under shall be subjected to intervention programs. So, ano yung mga intervention programs na series of activities, na-mention natin yan earlier. So, ano yun? Example, intervention program. Series of activities which are designed to address issues that cause the child to commit an offense. It may take individual statement program, which may include counseling, skills training, education, other activities that will improve emotional and psychosocial well-being. Okay. So, ano yung mga anong tawag nito? Ano yung mga ayan. 15 years and below. Exempt from criminal liability, and 15 years will end 15 years of age ends during his or her birthday. After one day, not anymore. It's not anymore 15 years of age. And then the child shall be subjected to an intervention program only. Now, how about if you are 15 years old and 1 day, above 15 years old, and below 18 years of age. And you acted without discernment. The child shall be subjected to an intervention program. Pareho siya kanina ng 15 years and below. Anong tinatawag na without discernment? There is a definition later on here. Meaning, ibig sabihin, by judgment of the court, you don't know that it is wrong. Yung pagpatay, hindi mo talaga plinano or hindi mo talaga na-discern na mali pala yon. Again, it is the court to determine, or it is later on we have the enumeration of who determines the discernment state of mind of a certain child in conflict with the law. So if it is without discernment, the person is exempted from criminal liability even though the age is beyond 15 years old and below 18 years old. So intervention pa rin. Okay. Those who commit status offenses, okay, mga below 15 years old, 18 years old, no penalty shall be imposed. Okay, balikan lang natin. Oh, sorry. Any conduct not considered an offense or penalized if committed by an adult shall not be considered an offense and shall not be punished if committed by a child. So for example, vagrancy, prostitution, sniffing of rugby. Because vagrancy, prostitution is already outlawed. I'm not sure of the term, pero hindi na siya decriminalized. Okay? It's not considered as or punishable, or these are actions or conduct which are not considered offense already or not penalized even though committed by an adult. So the child 18 years below 18 years old below 18 years old will not incur also criminal liability. Violation of ordinances. Local ordinances. No penalty shall be imposed on children for said violation. They shall instead be brought to their residence or to any barangay official at the residence hall to be released to the custody of their parents. This is an example. The best example here is the wearing of mask, the curfew, etc., etc. They should not be penalized. Rather, they should be returned to their released in custody to their parents. Ordinance enacted by local government concerning juvenile status offenses such as but not limited to curfew, truancy, parental disobedience, anti-smoking, anti-drinking, light offenses, misdemeanor against public order or safety such as but not limited to disorderly conduct, public scandal, harassment, against public intoxication. The child, meaning the person below 18 years old, should not be penalized. That their appropriate intervention program shall be provided for in such ordinances. The child shall also be reported as child at risk and not as child in conflict with the law. Okay? The ordinance shall also provide for intervention programs such as counseling, attendance in group activities for children, and for parents, attendance in parenting education and seminars. So, hindi siya ipipenalize kundi intervention programs na. Are they exempted also from civil liability? No. The exemption from criminal liability herein established does not include exemption from civil liability which shall be enforced in accordance with existing law to be paid by their parents or guardians. An example to that is like this. For example, a certain child killed his or her playmate, and that can be a homicide, okay? But that person, that child, that CICL cannot be penalized by the penalty of homicide. I think reclusion temporal. So he or she cannot be imprisoned. However, there are fines. There are subsidiary penalties that will be imposed. There will be other penalties, monetary penalties or fines that will be imposed against the child. For example, they should pay 50,000 pesos, 100,000 pesos, etc., etc., etc. In that case, although he will not be penalized by imprisonment, he will still be obliged to pay the penalties. Okay. But it should be paid by the parents or the guardians. So, who determines if the child acted with discernment in committing a crime or offense? Section 10 of the revised rule on children in conflict with the law states that the determination of discernment is preliminary determined by the social worker. So as ito, yun yung reason why is it that our what do you call this? Our MSWDO often testify in court to attest that that certain person acted with discernment. Okay. The determination of discernment shall take into account, tapusin ko lang. In other cases, discernment is determined by the court. The determination of discernment shall take into account the ability of the child to understand the moral and psychological component of criminal responsibility and the consequence of wrongful act, and whether a child can be held responsible for essentially antisocial behavior. And a certain situation of this, you have to remember this. A certain person, a certain CICL was convicted of the crime for murder because during his testimony and during trial, he said that okay lang patayin ko siya kasi hindi naman ako mabibilanggo kasi bata pa ako. So alam na niya yung consequences of the wrongful act, and he is using to his advantage that kind of information. Alam niya na hindi siya makukulong because of that, because of the presence of 9344. So ginawa niya. So in that case, the court ruled that that certain person committed the offense with or acted with discernment. So pininalize siya. Okay? Okay. So procedure of taking into custody the child exempted criminal liability. Authority in initial contact with the child report to LSWDO, local social welfare development officer. After that, immediately release the child to his or her parents, guardian, or child nearest relative. And then community-based intervention program, child supervised by LSWDO. If the best interest of the child, refer to youth care facility or Bahay Pag-asa. Okay, so there is actually a more detailed presentation to this. Okay, I'll show you this one. So initial contact, assessment by the LSWDO, immediate release to the child, to his parents or guardian, nearest relative. Child will be subjected to community-based intervention program. So even though nandun na siya sa parents, may mga a-attendan yung bata ng mga activities, series of activities, counseling sessions, etc., etc., or education activities. Pero pwede din, after the assessment of the child, kung yung parents, yung relative, wala na talaga or hindi i-accept, or yung naging biktima niya yung mga parents or relative or guardian or nearest relative, pwede siya i-refer sa Bahay Pag-asa. Okay. If the child, parents, guardians, nearest relatives cannot be located or refuse to take custody, child may be released to duly registered non-governmental or religious organization barangay official, or a member of the BCPC, or LSWDO or DSWD. So this is the situation wherein dito sa taas, walang nag-a-accept or hindi talaga possible yung immediate release to the child. So there are three possible na pwedeng gawin natin. Release to a non-governmental organization, barangay official, or LSWDO. However, if a child found by LSW to have committed a serious crime is a repeat offender or is dependent, abandoned, neglected, or abused by his or her parents, the best interest requires that he should be placed in a youth care facility, yung Bahay Pag-asa. Child parents shall execute written authority for voluntary commitment. Sige, ilagay nyo yan sa Bahay Pag-asa. Okay na kami. Wala kaming tawag dyan. Wala na kaming connection dyan sa bata. Bahala na kayo dyan. Sige, pipirma na kami. That's one thing. Or, pag hindi mag-execute yung parents ng written authorization, pwede mag-petition for involuntary commitment yung DSWD, and the court within 72 hours should decide on that petition. So, nami-mention natin yung Bahay Pag-asa, this in RE 93-3044, in which it was through an amendment, LGUs, each province and highly urbanized city shall be responsible for building, funding, and operating a Bahay Pag-asa within the jurisdiction following the standards that will be set by DSWD and adopted by the JJ Juvenile Justice Welfare Council. In Catbalogan City, we have Bahay Pag-asa, but we are hiring now a permanent social worker to man or to be designated as home parent. I forgot the term in the facility. It is located in Barangay Payao. Okay. So Bahay Pag-asa is a 24-hour child caring institution established, funded, and managed by local government units and licensed and or accredited non-government organization, providing short-term residential care for children in conflict with the law who are above 15 but below 18 years of age, who are awaiting court disposition this case or transfer to agencies or jurisdiction. Basta yung key terms are 24-hour child care institution, funded, managed by LGUs or any accredited NGO, providing short-term residential care for children in conflict with the law who are above 15 and below 18. So that's the Bahay Pag-asa. Now we'll continue with the presentation. So additional scenarios, if the parents, guardians, nearest relative cannot be located, if they refuse to take the custody, the child being released on, this was mentioned in the presentation earlier. If the child has been found by LSW to be a dependent, Bahay Pag-asa. So if the parents will refuse, non-governmental, religious, barangay official, or social welfare. If the child has been filed by LSW to be abandoned, etc., neglected, abused, etc., it can be referred to Bahay Pag-asa. If the child has no parents or guardian, or if they refuse to fail, execute a written authorization for voluntary commitment, okay, the minimum that they will be referred to the Bahay Pag-asa also. Okay, so Bahay Pag-asa if a child is considered neglected child. So we have a question. Baka natutulog na kayo lahat at kumakain. We have a question. It refers to a 24-hour child caring institution established, funded, and managed by local government units and licensed. Sorry, diretso na lang ako nag-snack. So may mga answer, bahay pag-asa. I think may nauna na kanina, so meron na tayong winner. Dapat Okay. Neglected child. Who are neglected child? These are the neglected child. Child is above 12 years of age up to 15 years of age, who committed parricide, murder, infanticide, kidnapping, serious illegal detention, robbery with homicide, destruction, rape, kidnapping, etc., etc. Offenses under Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act. So they're considered as neglected child. The procedure is petition for involuntary commitment and placement under the IJISC. Okay? Parang na-miss out ko, i-discuss to kanina. Baka magtanong kayo kung ano yung IG. In every bahay pag-asa will have a facility called Intensive Juvenile Intervention and Support Center. So part ng bahay pag-asa is this center. Intensive Juvenile Intervention and Support Center. This will be allocated for children in conflict with the law, found to have committed serious crime, repeat offenses, and have been found to be abandoned, neglected, or abused by parents or guardian. So for the neglected child, as defined earlier, they will be referred to specific center of the Bahay Pag-asa. It is the Intensive Juvenile Intervention and Support Center. Okay. Okay. So we also have what we call neglected child. Okay. Intensive intervention program, same. Okay. Kanina, yung diniscuss natin are offenders of serious offenses. Ito, repeat offenders, meaning nag-commit ng crime, same crime or similar crimes. Pareho ng example kanina, nagnakaw because of poverty, ngayon nagnanakaw because of drugs. So, consider din siya na neglected child, ipapasok din siya sa Bahay Pag-asa, and then dun din siya sa Intensive Juvenile Intervention Center. So, the child is above 12 years old. The child was previously subjected to community-based intervention program. The child, parents, or guardian shall execute a written authorization for voluntary commitment if the best interest of child requires. Petition if the parents fail or refuses to execute the voluntary commitment, or if there are no parents or guardians. So how about if the child is exploited by adults for the commission of crimes? Any person who is in the commission of a crime makes use, takes advantage, profits from the use of children, including any person who abuses his or her authority over the child, or who, with abuse of confidence, takes advantage of the vulnerabilities of the child and shall induce, threaten, or instigate the commission of the crime, shall be imposed the penalty prescribed by law for the crime committed in its maximum period. For example, murder. Murder is reclusion perpetua if the child committed murder because a certain adult instigated, threatened, or induced that child to commit the crime, then that person who induced or who instigated the child to commit the crime will be penalized by the maximum penalty of the penalty imposable to the crime of murder, which is reclusion perpetua. So under RA 7610, any person who shall use, coerce, force, intimidate child, street child, or any child to beg or use begging as means of living, act as conduit, middleman in drug trafficking and pushing or conduct of any illegal activity shall suffer the penalty of prison correctional in its medium period to reclusion perpetua. So for specific crimes, begging, use begging as means of living, conduit, middleman, drug trafficking, conduct any illegal activity, under RA 7610, that person will suffer penalty of prison correctional in its medium period to reclusion perpetua. So what happens, what is the procedure if the child is not exempt from criminal liability? So pinag-usapan lang natin kanina, yung 15 years and below, exempt. Yung 15 above, below 18, exempt if without discernment. How about if with discernment? What will happen to them? According to the law, Section 9, procedure for children not exempted from criminal liability, they will be at the sound discretion of the court and subject to supervision of that court, will be released in recognizance to the care of the willing and responsible mother or father or appropriate guardian or custodian, or in their absence, the nearest relative. For example, yung pagnakaw, by discernment na talaga alam niya, yung pagnakaw, pwede siyang makulong pero inabuse niya yung law, ginawa niya yon kasi paulit-ulit na, etc. etc. So may discernment na. Paano yon? Ano yung mangyayari? So a child 15 years of age and 1 day or 1 day old or above, but below 18 years of age at the time of commission of the crime shall be released in recognizance to the care of the responsible mother or father. However, if the prosecution determines that the child acted in discernment, the child shall be proceeded against in accordance with Section 59 to 21 of these revised rules on child. Nakalimutan ko. Sa revised rules on children in conflict with the law. Okay. If the prosecution determines that child acted with discernment, the child shall be proceeded against in accordance with Section 25 to 29. Yung 25, release of children, recognizance to the parents, guardians. So yung parents, sige kami magbabantay nito, pero during the time may hearing, etc., may trial, we will ensure na mag-a-attend siya sa mga trial. Release of a child from custody during the pendency of the case involving non-serious offense may be ordered by the court only after a hearing for that purpose and upon favorable recommendation by social worker assigned to that child with the conformity of the public prosecutor and private complainant. The child shall be released to the custody of the willing and responsible mother or father or appropriate guardian or custodian in their absence, the nearest relative who shall be responsible for the child's good behavior and appearance in court whenever required. So ano yung mga kailangan? Una, non-serious yung offense. Okay, pwede lang i-release yung children in recognizance to the parents if non-serious yung offense. Siguro hindi murder. Okay. Pangalawa, ordered by the court after hearing for that purpose, meaning nag-petition ka talaga for recognizance. Number 3, recommendation of the social worker. Number 4, there should be conformity of public prosecutor and the private complainant. So these 5 should be present before a certain child who committed a non-serious offense be released in recognizance to the parents, guardian, custodian, or nearest relative. Okay. So if non-serious offense also and recognizance or bail is not applicable, it can be committed or transferred to a youth rehabilitation center. So probably the youth, the Bahay Pag-asa. If there is absence of youth detention home, kanina may nag-answer kanina about youth detention home. Pero the latest law, yung 10639 that amended 9344, yung reference niya is Bahay Pag-asa na. This youth detention home is referred in the administrative matter of Supreme Court. This is a general term. Now, the specific term is Bahay Pag-asa. The youth shall be placed under the care of provincial, city, municipal jail, which shall ensure the appearance of the child in court when so required. Again, una, dapat yung child nag-commit lang ng non-serious offense. Number 2, nagkaroon ng hearing for recognizance. Number 3, nag-recommend yung LSWD officer. Number 4, nag-agree yung prosecutor pati yung private complainant. So, pwede na siya i-release in recognizance sa parents, guardian, etc. Pero kung hindi possible yon sa youth detention home or rehabilitation center. Pag walang youth rehabilitation center, pwede na siya sa provincial jail, provincial, city, or municipal jail. So, pwede rin mag-file ng magpiyansa. A child in conflict with the law shall be admitted to bail as a matter of right before final conviction of an offense not punishable by reclusion perpetua or life imprisonment. So mga lesser offense, diri yan mga murder, because again, murder is reclusion perpetua. However, if that person, that child, is charged with reclusion perpetua, but the evidence is not strong, evidence of guilt is not strong, the defense lawyer or the defense may file for bail, petition for bail. Pwede magpiyansa, pero this is not a matter of right anymore. The court will determine, in this case, the court shall commit the youth to the youth, the court will determine if pwede siya i-bail. However, in this case, the court shall commit the youth to a detention home or youth rehabilitation center in its absence to city provincial jail and shall be responsible for appearance of the child in a court whenever required. So, ganun siya. A matter of right siya pag yung piyansa, pwede magpiyansa, pwede makalabas pag not punishable by reclusion perpetua. But if it is reclusion perpetua and the evidence is strong, hindi talaga siya pwede ilabas. Dapat nandun siya sa youth detention or youth rehabilitation center. Wait. Baka naguguluhan kayo ha? Wait. We're talking kanina, itong issue na to, this is for youth offenders na with discernment. Meaning, dadaan na talaga siya sa legal process. Magta-trial na talaga siya. Pero while on trial, while nandun siya sa formal process ng court, ng justice system, pwede siya i-release in recognizance. Ano yung mga basis? Nagpetition, nagkaroon ng hearing, pagkatapos yung LSWDO nag-recommend, yung private complainant nag-okay, yung public prosecutor nag-okay. So, pwede yun. Okay. Pwede rin magpiyansa, especially if the crime committed is not punishable by reclusion perpetua. Pwede din. Pwede din mag-bail even though anong tawag nito? Grave yung offense, pero yung court yung magdedetermine kung makikita niya na yung evidence of guilt is not so strong. Okay. Pero kung strong yung evidence, dapat talaga nasa custody ng court. And that can be through youth detention center or youth detention home or youth rehabilitation center. O kung wala nun, provincial, city, or municipal jail. So, if the child is placed under the care of provincial, city, or municipal jail, the child shall be provided with adequate quarters separate from adults and prisoners of opposite sex, depending on the age, sex, sexual lifestyle, and such circumstances and needs of the child. Pwede din mag-diversion. So an alternative child appropriate process of determining the responsibility and treatment of CIC based on his economic, social, cultural, economic, psychosocial, or educational background without resorting to formal court proceedings. So who undergoes diversion? Okay, ha? Oo, diversion, tama. Diversion din pwede. Kaya nga this is the topic. However, for diversion, this is applicable to CICL above 15 years of age but below 18 years of age who acted with discernment. Yun na yung sinasabi ko kanina. Children who acted 15 years old and below who committed an offense, which are who committed an offense. So, pwede din diversion sila. So, tama yung nag-comment. Thank you so much. At least, meron makikinig. Thank you so much. Oo. For diversion, depende kung ano yung klase ng offense, pwede yung barangay, yung police, yung prosecutor, yung maging venue or mag-administer or mag-facilitate or mag-impose. Barangay, police, or prosecutor level if the offense has imposable penalty of not more than 6 years of imprisonment. But if it is more than 6 years, but not more than 12 years, yung court yung mag-o-order ng diversion. Okay. So what are sa barangay? So conducted by the lupang tagapamayapa, chaired by the punong barangay with assistance of BCPC, Barangay Committee on the Protection of Children, I think. Barangay. Punong barangay shall conduct mediation, family conferencing, conciliation, and an indigenous mode of conflict resolution. So, yung offender and the victim will be invited by the Katarungang Pambarangay. Okay. Absence of offended party or his or her disagreement in the conduct shall not prevent the proceeding from being conducted. The punong barangay shall, however, endeavor to obtain the participation and the consent of the offended party in the formulation of diversion program. Okay. So objectives, restorative. We discussed this earlier. Formulation of a diversion program. Child and his or family shall be present in the conduct of these diversion proceedings. Offended party may participate in diversion proceedings. Mamaya, baka ano ba to? Ano ba yung diversion? After that, nagkaroon ng mediation, nagkaroon ng conference, nagkaroon ng proceedings. There will be a contract of diversion. Child voluntarily admits commission of the act, and the victim and offender must both agree to the diversion. Pipirma sila, karoon ng diversion. So yung diversion program must be in writing, signed by parties and concerned authorities. There should be supervision from the local social welfare officer or of the diversion program. The diversion proceedings to be completed in 45 days. Okay. On diversion program, child must be present herself at least once a month for reporting or evaluation. So during the conduct of the diversion program, dapat bibisita, maging present for yung child, CICL, for reporting and evaluation. Failure to comply with the terms and conditions of the diversion program as certified by LSWDO, victim has the option to institute proper legal action. Kinds of the diversion program, any of the following or combination thereof. Restitution of property, kung ninakaw, ibalik. Reparation of damage cost, kung may nasira, kumpunihin or ayusin. Indemnification for consequential damages, bayaran na lang kung hindi na maibabalik. Written or oral apology, kung okay yon sa victim. Care, guidance, supervision, orders, counseling for the CICL and the child's family. Attendance in training seminar lectures on anger management skills, problem solving, and other conflict resolution, values formation, and skills with situation which can lead to repetition. So these are the kinds of diversion programs that a child in conflict of the law who acted in discernment may be resorted to in order to exempt him or her from liability. And it can only happen if, again, the offender and the offended party will sign in a contract of diversion, and that the offender faithfully complied the diversion program agreed by the parties. So formulation of diversion program, individual treatment, consider the following factor: child feelings of remorse for the offense he or she committed, parents or legal guardians' ability to guide and supervise the victim, victim's view about propriety of the measures to be imposed, availability of community-based program for rehabilitation and reintegration of the child. Meaning, hindi ka magna-diversion program kung nakita natin na during the diversion proceedings, walang indication of remorse. Mahirap yun. Kasi parang naglulukuhan lang tayo. Or the parents or legal guardians do not have the ability to guide or supervise the child. Baka during the diversion proceedings, nagka-craft and formulate kayo ng diversion program, yung parents pa yung parang nag-i-induce na, anak, tama yung ginawa mo, dapat lang pinatay mo yun. O, what's the sense of having diversion program? So, these are examples. These are the factors that we have to consider in undergoing diversion program. Participation in available community-based programs, including community service, participation, education, vocational life skills programs. So, including later on, meron ma-discuss later on yung monitoring. Oo. And actually na-mention na kanina yung monitoring sa earlier slide na andito yung yan. On diversion program, child must present himself or herself at least once a month for reporting and evaluation, for monitoring purposes, in order to monitor if the child is compliant or is complying with the terms of the diversion contract. Sige. Another factor that should be considered is presence of community-based programs for rehabilitation and reintegration of that child in the barangay or in the community. So the barangay may ensure or may ensure that the CICL subjected to diversion program participates in any available community-based programs, including community service or participation, education, vocation, life skills programs. So how about for law enforcement and prosecution and social worker level? Diversion programs previously specified confiscation, forfeiture of the procedure, instrument of the crime. Okay. And the court level, diversion programs previously specified, and then written or oral reprimand or citation, fine, etc., payment of cost of proceedings, etc., institutional care and custody. So the court may, isa-isahin natin ha, if it is the law enforcers, prosecution, or social worker level who will facilitate the diversion program, the creation, the crafting, the formulation of the diversion programs, the law enforcement, prosecution, social worker level may institute diversion programs that includes yung reparation, restoration, restitution, indemnification, participation in community activities, yun. Plus confiscation and forfeiture of proceeds or instrument of the crime. For example, if nagnakaw yung bata ng mga bigas, for example, or nagnakaw ng mga battery ng sasakyan, and then may ginamit siya na sasakyan, motor. Aside from the diversion programs previously specified, ano yung tinatawag na mga diversion programs previously specified? Ito, yung mga restitution of property, reparation. Aside from ibalik yung battery, or kung nawala na yung battery, pagkatapos nasira yung sasakyan, pinalitan na lang ng battery, or nawala na talaga yung battery at hindi na makahanap ng bagong battery, na same na battery ng sasakyan, babayaran na lang namin. Aside from that, the law enforcer, the prosecution, and the social worker may confiscate or forfeiture of the proceeds or instrument of the crime, yung sasakyan, yung motor na ginamit sa pagnanakaw ng battery, pwede rin yun i-confiscate ng law enforcement, prosecution, and social worker level. Pero mas malaki yung pwedeng gawin ng court. So aside doon kanina sa diversion programs previously specified, yung restitution, restitution of property, reparation of damages, indemnification, pwede rin mag-issue yung court ng written or oral reprimand or citation against the child, mag-fine, and then mag-provide ng payment of cost of the proceeding, or i-refer yung bata for institutional care and custody. There are examples that the court can implement for diversion program at in its level. Remember that in the court, mas mataas yung offenses na nakumit ng bata. More than 6 years imposable penalty up to 12 years. So during diversion, ito na yung na-mention kanina ni Ma'am about sa monitoring. Explain intent clearly to the child, his or her family, and the victim if present. Clearly emphasize the benefits to the CICL. Observe confidentiality. Encourage CICL to express himself, herself, especially when deciding on the appropriate diversion program. Consider religious belief, cultural orientation, intellectual and physical ability, financial situation of the CICL family, and similar concerns in choosing a diversion program. For example, mahirap naman na ipapa-attend natin yung bata for religious activities. For example, papatindin natin ng catechism during summer, and then whatever activities i-commit natin sa religious organization. Sa Catholic institution, considering na alam natin na Muslim siya. So we have to consider that also. Okay? So yung physical situation, physical ability, community service, tutulong siya sa community service, pero may mga impairment siya, so mahirap din. So during the diversion, we have to consider everything. These things, these factors. Okay. Use language and expressions that are easily understood by CICL and are child-friendly. Allow CICL to read diversion contract before signing. schedule of diversion proceeding not to interfere with CICL's attendance to school and shall ensure that he or she understands it. The diversion proceeding shall be completed within 40 days upon submission of the case for diversion. When no agreement was reached after 45 days, the proceeding shall be terminated. The case shall be filed according to regular process. Okay. So, if found guilty, what will happen to CICL who committed an offense or crime with discernment? Okay. Kanina, before conviction, before decision, nag-uusap tayo before decision. Ito, how about kung nag-decide na yung court, ano yung mangyayari? There will be automatic suspension of sentence and disposition orders. So anong ibig sabihin nun? Kung in conflict of the law, pagkatapos nag-commit siya ng crime, may discernment, for example, homicide, dapat ang tawag nito i-imprison siya, pero natapos yung proceeding 17 years old pa lang siya, isususpend yung implementation of the sentence. Hindi siya pwede ikulong. Okay? If the child is found guilty of the offense charged, the court, instead of executing the judgment of conviction, shall place the child in conflict with the law under suspended sentence without need of application thereof. So hindi siya mag-a-apply. Automatic siya. Suspension of sentence can be availed of even if the child is already 18 years of age or more, but not above 21 years of age at the time of the pronouncement of guilt, without prejudice to the child's availing of the benefits such as probation, if qualified, or adjustment of penalty in the interest of justice. The benefit of suspended sentence shall not apply to a child in conflict with the law who has once enjoyed suspension of sentence, but shall nonetheless apply to one who is convicted of offense punishable by reclusion perpetua. So meaning, tapusin ko lang, prohibiting the imposition of death penalty and in lieu thereof reclusion perpetua, the application of privilege mitigating of minority. If the child in conflict with the law reaches 18 years of age while under suspended sentence, the court shall determine whether to discharge the child in accordance with the provisions of 9344 or extend the suspended sentence for a maximum of up to the time the child reaches 21 years of age in order or to order service of sentence. Kasi kung nakapag-commit siya ng murder and then meron siyang penalty na 40 years, up to 40 years. So kung mag-up to 40 years, isususpend muna yung sentence. Pag 18 years old, the court shall determine whether to discharge the child. Tingnan natin, naging okay ba to? Pwede na ba siya i-discharge? Or ay hindi pa? Parang hindi pa siya nagbago? The court will determine it if they will discharge the child or not. Up to 21 years of age. Or after 18 years, wala. Mahirap to. Mahirap yung batang hindi imprison. I-imprison natin yan. So that's the meaning of the third paragraph. If the child in conflict with the law reaches 18 years of age while under suspended sentence, the court shall determine whether to discharge the child in accordance with the provisions of 9344 or to extend the suspended sentence up to 21. Mamaya, wag muna natin imprison yan hanggang 21 lang. Pero ay hindi, pasaway talaga sa labas. Sige, that's the last part. To order service of sentence. So, ano yung mga minimension kanina na whether disposition orders. So, disposition conference in case of suspended sentence, the court shall set the case for disposition conference within 15 days from the promulgation of sentence with notice social worker, the child and the parent guardian, child and child counsel, the victim and the counsel. And the conference, the court shall proceed to determination and issue any or combination of the following disposition measure best suited to the rehabilitation and welfare of the child: care, guidance, and supervision orders, community service orders, drug and alcohol treatment, participation in group counseling and similar activities, commitment to Youth Rehabilitation Center, Department of Social Welfare and Development, and other centers for children in conflict with the law authorized by the Secretary of Department of Social Welfare and Development. Alam to siguro ng mga nakikinig dyan na mga nag-treat ng mga issues na to. Pag may suspended sentence, hindi ibig sabihin na yung bata free. Okay? Magiging free siya na nasa labas lang. No. There should be disposition conference in case of suspended sentence. So the court will set the case for disposition conference within 15 days after the promulgation of sentence. And then there and then, in the presence of the social worker, the parents and guardian, the offended party and the counsel, the prosecution, they will determine what kind of disposition measures will be implemented for the rehabilitation of the child. It can be care, guidance, or supervision orders, or community service. And then after that, upon reaching 18, that's the thing that I mentioned earlier, the third paragraph of the previous section. Pamilya nila after ng nag-18 years old na ay naging magandang bata to, okay to, pwede na nilang i-discharge. Yan, while the court shall determine whether to discharge the child, okay, pero kung hindi talaga, kailangan pa niya it's always the court who will decide. Hindi pa siya pwede palabasin. Or talaga wala kahit anong community service orders, hindi talaga nagpapakita doon or nagpapasaway lang. So talaga i-implement na natin yung anong tawag nito, yung sentence. So these are the measures, disposition measures that may be resorted to by the court. Community service orders or drug and alcohol treatment. So pwedeng papuntahin siya sa mga rehabilitation centers, participation, group counseling, and similar activities. Commitment to Youth Rehabilitation Center of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. So generally, if you will be handling CICL, law enforcement, barangay official, kagawad tanod, advise the complainant to fill up appropriate form, record the complaint in the BCPC logbook, take initial custody of the child, notify the child parent, the SSU-SWDS, punong barangay if arresting officer is other barangay official, properly identify yourself and present proper ID to the child, explain to the child in simple language and local dialect why he is being placed under initial custody and the offense of acts that she committed, and refer and allow the PNP women and child desk to take a statement of the child. Okay, wait. Ano to? For example, nagnakaw yung bata. Pag nakaw ng bata, diretso, yung complainant, papuntahin diretso sa barangay, mag-fill up siya ng appropriate form. I-record ka agad sa BCPC logbook yung complaint. After that, yung punong barangay kagawad or barangay tanod will take initial custody of the child. After that, ino-notify na yung parents, yung LSWD, or ang punong barangay if yung nag-arrest hindi yung punong barangay or baka yung ibang barangay official. And then, during the arrest, you will properly identify kung barangay kagawad ka na, bata, ako si Buba, simpleng dalaga, etc. Ako yung mag-arrest sa'yo. Hindi mag-arrest. Dapat magbigay ka ng proper identification. Present an ID if possible. And then explain na, alam mo, hindi yan gamit mo, kinuha mo. Alam mo ba na bawal yan sa batas? So, kaya ngayon, under custody namin kayo, punta ka muna sa barangay, doon ka muna. And then after that, i-refer na siya sa PNP, women and child desk to take a statement of the child. During the handling of CICL, refrain from using vulgar or vulgar words. Nurayan ako ng word. Nakalimutan ko yung pronounce. Profane? Sorry ha. Avoid the display of firearm, weapon, handcuff, another instrument of force or restraint unless absolutely necessary and other methods of control have been exhausted. So hindi magpapakita ng baril. Refrain from using restraint greater than is necessary for his or her apprehension. If the alleged ACL is not resident of the barangay where the offense was committed, refer the case to barangay concerned if he or she is from the same municipality or city. But if refer the case to other LGU through LSWD if the child is a resident of other municipality or city. So if nagnakaw siya sa ibang barangay, if the alleged is not a resident of the barangay where the offense was committed, you will refer it to the barangay concerned if within the same municipality or city. So for example, pag nagnakaw ako sa barangay A, bata pa ako, hindi naman halata. If the CICL, you will refer it to the barangay concerned if he or she is from the same municipality or city. I have this instance, for example, barangay A siya nakatira pero nagnakaw siya sa barangay B. Okay? If the alleged CICL is not a resident of the barangay where the offense was committed, refer the case to the barangay concerned if she is from the same municipality or city. So, i-refer mo siya sa barangay kung saan siya resident. Tama ba ako? Para sa mga workers ng LSWDO? So nadakip na in custody mo yung bata dun sa barangay kung saan hindi siya nakatira doon pero dun siya nag-commit, yung gagawin mo, ito turn over, i-refer mo sa barangay kung saan nakatira, kung the same municipality. Pero kung hindi, you have to refer it to the LGU wherein the CICL is a resident of that municipality. So for example, if municipality A, municipality B, nag-commit siya sa barangay ng municipality B, pero nakatira siya sa municipality A. Okay? Yung municipality B na barangay, i-course niya sa LSWD o ng municipality B, pero i-refer pa rin sa kung saan siya nakatira, sa municipality A. Ay may nag-comment na tama po. Thank you so much. Inter-LGU, yes. Okay, thank you so much. We have this medyo familiar kasi ako nito because Ma'am Nida usually receives mga refer na mga nag-commit ng mga crime ng mga bata sa ibang lugar, and then yung Ma'am Nida na sinabi ko kanina, yun yung SSU-SWDS namin, and then nag-commit, naging drug offender sa ibang lugar and then turn over dito, and then kami yung nagpapa-rehabilitate. Okay. So lastly, this is an actual case of CICL. Merong pinatay si Jerwin Dorado pagkatapos na-convict siya sa RTC and Court of Appeals. And then nag-decide yung RTC na guilty siya ng frustrated murder. Meaning talaga may premeditation, meaning parang plinano talaga, gusto talagang patayin pero nag-survive lang yung tao, kaya frustrated murder. In-affirm ng Court of Appeals, frustrated murder din, guilty. Okay, nag-rule yung Court of Appeals na guilty siya. Nag-side, nag-affirm yung Court of Appeals sa RTC. Pero pagdating sa Supreme Court, question ng Supreme Court, kasi minor nang nag-commit, dapat dinetermine muna ng RTC, ng prosecution, kung during the time of the commission of the crime, meron bang discernment. Kasi kung walang discernment, dapat automatic in diversion program, intervention programs. Okay? Kung walang i-review lang natin, pag walang discernment, exempted siya, subjected to intervention program. Yun yung sinabi ng court. Dapat, kasi na-commit 15 years old ata, dapat dinetermine muna ng RTC at prove dapat ng prosecution na nag-act siya with discernment before siya i-convict for frustrated murder. Kasi it will matter, sabi ng Supreme Court. Dapat merong yung prosecution prove na nagkaroon ng discernment. Kasi kung walang discernment, automatic dapat subjected to intervention program lang. So yun yung sinasabi ng Supreme Court. And then as seen in the records of the case, walang ganung nangyari sa RTC sa trial court. So dinismiss yung kaso niya. Dinismiss yung acquitted yung bata. Okay. Okay. So ito yung naging ruling ng Supreme Court. The prosecution did not determine the discernment of Dorado at the time of the commission of the crime. So walang kasi yung presumption of law is that child 15 to 18, if he or she has committed a crime, the presumption is it is without discernment. That's the presumption. It is the burden of the prosecution to prove that there is discernment. Okay, so meaning ngayon yung mangyayari, dapat exempted siya, wala siyang criminal liability kasi walang na-prove na discernment. And then may na-mention doon na hindi dapat frustrated murder, dapat frustrated homicide lang kasi walang evident premeditation. Hindi yan na-prove. Bakit kailangan pa i-determine na frustrated homicide? Sabi niyo, sir, exempted na siya. No. The reason why is it that there should be determination first of the criminal liability, the actual criminal liability, it's because of the subsidiary penalties, the civil liabilities. Kasi every criminal liability, there will be civil liabilities. And that civil liabilities will be and should be paid by the parents of the CICL. So there is still need for the actual determination of the actual criminal liability, but actually it will not be implemented by the court, and that sentence imposed upon the offender will not be imposed. The decision as to what kind of crime was committed is only significant as to the determination of civil liabilities. So as you can see, the civil liability here is the crime frustrated homicide entails the following awards of damages: 30,000 for civil indemnity, 30,000 for moral damages. In addition to damages of award, there will be legal interest at the rate of 6% per annum from the date of finality of the decision until finally paid. So magbabayad pa rin. Yun yung sinabi natin kanina na although exempted from criminal liability, still merong civil liability. So that's the decision of the Supreme Court. So the petition is granted. The judgment of conviction of Dorado is hereby reversed and set aside for reason of accepting circumstance of minority. Is hereby referred to local social welfare for the appropriate intervention program. Kasi ngayon, yung nangyari, yung presumption na anong tawag nito? Na yung presumption na without discernment, di ba kanina, basta without discernment, dapat intervention program yung magiging intervention, yung magiging mechanism, magiging hindi naman punishment, magiging corresponding action towards the offender. So yun yung nangyari. So mga important points yun na kailangan tandaan. And last is ito. 1 PM na, sorry. Few things lang. Pero na-mention na to kanina eh. Minimum age of criminal liability, 15, basis of determination, birth certificate, release of child below 15, okay, diversion program. So na-mention natin yan. These are the leading cases. Okay. So, okay. So, yun yung mga may last question na lang ako, and then I think kailangan to para may mga chance pa yung wala pang nanalo. Hindi pa nanalo, sorry. Be ready for the question. Okay, be ready. Last na lang to para sa mga hindi pa nanalo. Kumakain na talaga sila lahat. Wala nang nagre-react. Okay, so thank you very much. I think I will end the presentation dun sa topic na yon. Thank you very much for your cooperation. I think mayroong kung may mga questions pa po, hanapin ko lang yung mga winners.
Okay. Wow, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Tapos na po.
Yes po, thank you so much, Attorney Dennis. Indeed, that was an informative and relevant talk. Ang daming inputs na aming natutunan at na-digest at ida-digest pa. Thank you po for speaking up about drug use and juvenile justice, sir. And also, thank you everyone for your active participation. Kaya naman, ngayon we'll be having an open forum, but since we started late and we are running out of time, we'll only entertain 3 questions po. Sir, if you don't mind po answering 3 questions. Sige po. For those who have questions, you can send it in our chat box in Zoom, or you can open your mic and camera. For Facebook viewers, you can also type it here in the comment section and our speaker will gladly answer it. Do you have questions here in Zoom?
I'll be announcing the winners. Oh, just oh my God. While nag-aantay ako ng question, for the first question, which the answer is depressant, yung pinakauna dito is Rhea Solomon, na kompleto yung name. Kasi yung iba stimulant, depressant yung answer eh. Yung iba depressant ang answer, pero hindi naglagay ng katabi ng name niya, hindi naglagay ng GCash. So, yung nakakomply lang talaga is si Rhea V. Solomon for the first question. For the second question, Jennifer Serrano. Hippies, hardcore addicts. Okay. Wala ng question?
Sir, we have a question po here in Zoom. The question is RA 9165 bailable violation?
Depende sa imposable penalty, pero generally kasi matataas yung mga penalty niya, hindi pwede. Oh, there is specific wait. I'm searching my notes kasi meron akong sinamarize nito nang nag-aaral pa ako. Okay, generally talaga because matataas yung mga penalties for violation of RA 9165, it is not bailable. Oo. Pero merong mga 'di ba merong mga offenses sa 9165 na medyo mababa lang yung penalty, some of which are bailable. Pero generally yung matataas are so, ano yung I think I can cite a certain level. Non-bailable na siya starting from if if you are possessing or selling marijuana 10 grams to 50 grams. I'm not sure, pero ganun yun. Pero yung pababa, wherein mas mababa yung mga penalties, pwede i-bail. I'll send it to the chat box later on. Okay. So pero generally kasi matataas yung cases, mga mga penalties not bailable. Non-bailable. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Another one from Facebook. We have a question here. Possession ng palara and lighter in your pocket, pwede ba makasuhan ng illegal possession?
It depends upon the other circumstances of the crime, of facts present and attending circumstances present. So, for example, if you committed that crime during a pot session, you are participant of that pot session, pero during the apprehension, you are just possessing a lighter and then what do you call that? Anong isa? Lighter and palara. There is a strong evidence, or a case may be built, maybe a case build up may be instituted in order for you to be charged with violation of dangerous drugs, possession of illegal dangerous drugs paraphernalia. But if you are just walking outside and then there are no other circumstances that will lead to a conclusion that you will be doing or you will be you are bringing that paraphernalia for dangerous drugs activity, then pwede ka makalusot. Pwede ka makalusot. Depende kasi sa mga other attending circumstances. Oo. So balara, ano yung balara? Yung foil? Ano yun?
Actually, sir, di kami sure kung di po kami sure, sir, kung ano. But foil nga.
Foil. Sorry, kaya di kita ito nang gagamit eh.
Siya nga ni. Okay. Okay, sir. Last question po. From Ma'am Jennifer Serrano, what may be done to someone who tested positive for a dangerous drugs like marijuana and shabu?
Ano daw?
What may be done to someone who tested positive for dangerous drugs like marijuana and shabu?
Okay. It will fall under use of illegal drugs or dangerous drugs. According to 9153 as presented earlier, it will only be the first offense, di ba? You will be committed to a I'll just show the presentation. Tested man lang, di ba? Hindi siya nakuha na ng wait. It's here. So kung nakuhanan ka no. Kung na-test ka, meaning gumamit ka, the first offense, ayan. First offense is you will be minimum of 6 months rehabilitation in a government center. Okay, but it depends upon the agency where you are working at, kung ano yung mga rules nila. Okay, i-qualify ko lang yun kasi just like here in the city, we passed an ordinance about it. Pag mag-test positive talaga, you will be charged with administrative case. Okay, but generally for this law, which deals only on the use of dangerous drugs, nag-positive siya. Meaning, kung nag-positive siya, nag-use siya ng dangerous drugs. Based sa law, if I will be only answering a question based sa law, you will have a minimum of 6 months rehabilitation in a government center. I think that's the safer answer. Pero depende pa rin sa agency. Kasi dito sa amin, I think napasa na yung ordinansa na they will be charged with anong tawag nito? With administrative case. Sige po, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you po for answering that question. And thank you for Ma'am Serrano.
I-clear ko lang yung bailable ha. Hindi lang ako sure doon, pero generally non-bailable talaga yung ano pa nito? Yung mga drug cases under 9165. Sige po, thank you so much. Hahanapin ko lang yung ibang winner ha. Sorry.
Okay, sige sir. Once again po, thank you so much, Attorney Dennis.
So while waiting for the winners, GCash winners, we will also announce the winners for the 20 pesos load kanina. So we have Miss Bam Abalos to announce. Yes, hello again. So this time, we're going to announce the 5 winners of the 20 pesos load. Ang kanina natong pre-test about the talk this morning. Okay, so the answers before I announce the winners, the answers for the questions a while ago. Number 1 is juvenile delinquency, and the fastest was Miss Angelica Escanio. Please chat your number to the SWDS page. And for number 2, the answer is Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, or RA 9344. So the winner is Jennifer Serrano. For number 3, the winner is Merkita Darlene May. The answer was Attorney Dennis Galit Cosmon. And number 4, the answer is RA 9165. The winner is Louis Joe. Tama? Louis Joe. It's it's in the screen naman. So number 5, the last one, methamphetamine or shabu and marijuana. And the winner is Rhea Salomon. So congratulations to our winner, or to the winners of the 20 peso load. And kindly chat your cell phone numbers to the FB page of the SWDS so we can send your loads. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed our game. And of course, I hope you had a lot of takeaways from our webinar this morning. Thank you so much, Sir Dennis, Attorney Dennis.
Pwede mag-announce na ako ng winners?
Sige,
Sorry.
sir. Sige, sir.
Oo. Si Ma'am Jennifer Serrano, try siya nanalo for the question. It is hardcore children in conflict with the law and counseling and skills training. And then Rhea Solomon. And then Ofiana Ariana. And Marquita Darlene May. So, isisend na lang po yung prize through sa inyong GCash. Thank you so much.
Yeah, congratulations to all the winners. Okay, so And to award the certificate to our speaker in behalf of Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, Engineer Maria Lourdes P. Amante, we have here the Head of Career and Placement Services, Miss Maria Cristina Abalos. Ma'am?
Okay, so Summer State University would like to award the Certificate of Recognition to Attorney Dennis G. Cosmud in grateful recognition for imparting his valuable insights and expertise as a resource speaker during the webinar on Orientation on Dangerous Drugs Act, or RA 9165, and the Juvenile Delinquency Act, held on May 5, 2021 at Summer State University, given this 5th day of May 2021 at Summer State University, Catbulagan City, Samar. Signed by the University President Marlene D. Cardoso. Thank you so much again, Attorney.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Attorney. So before we end today, can I request for a group photo together with our speaker? If that's okay to our Zoom participants, kindly open your cameras and let's take a picture.
Wait, parang nakapin sa akin, so remove spotlight. Okay, go.
Okay? Okay, 1, 2, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, another one. 1, 2, smile. Another one. 1, 2. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. And for the link for this morning's attendance and evaluation, we will send it to our Zoom chat box and in the comment section in Facebook. God bless and see you this afternoon. We will also have a webinar about finding a resource for online entrepreneurship. Keep safe and to God be the glory. Bye.
Sir, sorry kanina kay nag-Zoom meeting, nag-Zoom.
Let us sing a song of gladness to our alma mater race. Come, ye classmates, friends, and comrades, let her glory be your praise. May your lasting light be our guide, as we leave our portals wide. SSU only ever, in our hearts will this refrain. Faith will lead us to our destiny of success or adversity. Yet to thy name we give our loyalty, alma mater, hail to thee. In the ivy halls of learning, found the wisdom thou hast gleaned, shaping lives for home and country, for our nations great and free. Sing we of her fame and honor, carry we her banner high. On and on we march to victory, proud and bold forevermore. SSU, our beloved school, we will cherish your name for aye. With grateful hearts thy children loudly cry, SSU mabuhay.
From our humble beginnings, we began to shine.
From taking little footsteps, we began to
Near or
climb.
far, we have reached across
From
summer.
Catbalogan aside. From our halls we walk their aisles.
Achievements and awards now we prize. Join us and we'll show you the greatness of SSU. Summer State University, soaring high with excellence.